Petra Leitholdt was far from enthusiastic about the prospect of new elections in Germany. "It's just a waste of time, energy and resources," the 51-year-old said, standing on the bustling market square of Hermannplatz in the Neukölln district of Berlin. "I for one wouldn't vote any differently than I did on September 24. I weighed up my options then and would make the same decision if there was another vote. But I think Angela Merkel will come out on top again anyway, although maybe strengthened." Her mother, Irmgard, 80, nodded furiously. Her arm looped into her daughter's as they made their way home. The two said they enjoyed talking about politics but felt it had failed their neighborhood and Germany as a whole. Under Merkel, inequality has risen, the gap between rich and poor is getting wider, child poverty is on the rise and there's been no real effort put into trying to control rents in this area, which makes life really tough for many, said Irmgard. "I don't think Merkel is to blame for that, but I also don't think she has much say over what happens. Democracy is very flawed." Irmgard and Petra Leitholdt in Berlin. Photograph Kate Connolly for The Guardian. Petra Leitholdt hoped nevertheless that the shock to Merkel of having to stand again if new elections were called might make her think more about interests at home. "I get such a strong impression of a leader who is there for Europe but not really for the Germans. Maybe that would change." Kim, not his real name, drew on a cigarette and took a sip of his pills outside a newsagent's on Karl Marx Strasse. The farmer-turned-visa administrator, 57, said German elections always made him nervous. "You just cannot trust the Germans, as history has shown," he said. "I think they are the most intelligent sheep in the world. I constantly worry what Germany might unleash on the world, particularly with Britain leaving the EU, which just gives Germany more power in Europe. And I fear what might happen in this current climate of uncertainty if Merkel is unseated." He was a strong advocate of Merkel, although he said that did not necessarily mean he voted for her. He said he could not imagine a better leader for Germany. "Of course she's made mistakes," he said. "The refugee decision was right morally but wrong politically. It was too much of a churchy thing for her to do. And it has got her into the mess she's in now. But with all the drama going on in the rest of the world, from Saudi Arabia to Russia, Turkey to Syria, the US to Britain, she's absolutely the calm hand we need, and I'd hope she'll get re-elected." Timothy, Germany is seen as a bit of a political anchor. Photograph Kate Connolly for The Guardian. Timothy, 32, who did not want to give his surname, said he was ill-informed about politics. "But I feel the potential turmoil that could follow if Germany is plunged into political uncertainty," he said, buying a coffee. "For Europe and for Germany. Germany is being seen as a bit of a political anchor and that could be in danger." Wiping up his coffee bar, a converted VW campervan, Hassan, 37, a recent arrival from Turkey via the US with his German wife, said he was happy to have been able to make a life for his family in Germany. "It's stable, it's social, and even the large amount of bureaucracy one has to deal with I appreciate because it's a sign that politics has control." He too appreciated the calm hand of Merkel. "She's very self-controlled, she doesn't give in to machos like Putin and Erdogan, and feared what might come after her. I feel safe and secure now, but imagine if the far-right populists Alternative for Deutschland were to get into power on the back of the political mess we have now. Then where might that leave me and my family?" Samia Baghdadi, 47, a service worker, said she too feared a sharpening in tone of anti-foreigner rhetoric. "Fundamentally the world needs a huge political rethink," she said, pushing her bike home from work on Karl Marx Strasse. "But at least under Merkel I think the country is polite and decent, though I fear the powers working behind the scenes, and I fear who might govern Germany if she is no longer in power. We've seen what's happened in the US, and how people's language and behavior is being shaped by Donald Trump. Well, I fear a German Trump. Or worse. I think people are susceptible to that.